Welcome, everybody. We are going to go through the TI-84 buttons for Chapter 3. And at the end, we'll talk about how to also do a residual plot, which is related. All right, so when you start, you need to enter your data in stat. I already did this with my Barbie data here on the right. We had 7 rubber bands and up to 7, and we recorded all of that. So I already entered that in my calculator. Got to do that. Make sure both lists are the same length, otherwise you get errors. All right. I also like to, before I make a scatter plot, I like to check my y equals button. If you have random stuff in here from before, I've seen really strange things that maybe are from other classes or whatever. They're going to get in the way. So just make sure you clear those out. Okay. If you want to see your scatter plot, you go to the stat plot menu, which is second y equals. Then you go into the first menu, boop, turn it on, bam. The first option here is already highlighted, but that is the scatter plot option. This one over here is called a normal probability plot. That will come later. So stay on the first one. Double check your lists, and then when you want to graph it, you want to see it, you actually hit zoom, and then number 9, zoom stat, and there's my scatter plot. You can hit trace, and you can move from dot to dot if you'd like. All right. Then you want to find the linear regression data, like the line of best fit and the R value and R squared, right? So to do that, you go back to stat, you go over to calculate, and you do number 4. You could also do 8. They're actually the same, just switching your A and B there. But I usually choose 4. Your lists stay there. Frequency list remains empty. This is a cool option that the newer calculators have. It will store the equation in your y equals menu. Your y equals menu is here. Let me show it to you all. I'll come back to this screen. Y equals menu. This is where you would put the equation for the line, and then it would graph it. So I'm going to put it right where that cursor is on the Y1 line. So back to your menu. To do this, there's a couple of keystrokes. You're going to hit alpha, trace. Let me say it one more time. Alpha, trace. And this menu pops up with all the Y's. And you're going to do the first one, Y1. So when it finds the equation, it will place it into the Y1 slot to be graphed. Then you hit calculate. Oh, I forgot. This is good though. If you don't see R, what do? Mine always times out because I'm using the online version. I have to go to the catalog. It's alphabetical. I gotta go down to the D's and turn diagnostics on. I did this in class with you guys. But once you do this, you're set. Unless you take your batteries out. So let me run the regression one more time. Stat calc, number 4. I want to put Y1 there again. So alpha, trace, Y1, calculate. There we go. So now I have A and B. That is my slope and my y-intercept in order. 6.28 is my slope. 38.75 is my y-intercept. And my R value is 0.99 and R squared is 0.98. Okay. If I go to my y equals menu now, looky there. It put the equation there, and it included a whole bunch of decimal points before that first x. If you don't have that feature that puts it there for you, you're going to have to do your linear regression, and then you're going to have to write down your equation off of this screen. like on Notability or whatever, so you can refer back to it and then type it in. So 6.28, you'd go back here, 6.28, your X button is right there, and then plus 38.75. You don't need all those extra decimals. They'll be pretty much the same thing. So let me get rid of that one. Now, if I want to see the line on top of the scatter plot, I just hit zoom 9 one more time, and it will graph everything. Zoom 9. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, that's about it. When you go to y equals, by the way, did you notice up here are the plots? When they're highlighted, they are turned on. Just a nice little feature. So zoom 9. So there you go. I got it all. One more thing you may want to do on the calculator, this is a bit of an extension and probably not often used, is you might want to calculate residuals for each dot. Each dot has a residual, and you could even make the residual plot. The applet does this in one click for you, but this process is helpful because you'll understand what's going on. So I'm going to go back to my list, and I'm going to use list 3 and 4 to help me find the residuals. So to find a residual, you have to know the observed value, which is the actual value. That's these. This is what actually happened in my Barbie experiment. And I have to compare that to another list of what I predict to happen. And the prediction is based on that equation right here from the regression. I'm going to round it off to 6.29 and 38.75. So on my list over here, I want list 3 to be my predicted values. So I go up here and I start typing in my equation, 6.29 times x, but I'm not going to put x, I'm going to put times the numbers in list 1. The number of rubber bands are in list 1, then plus my y-intercept. It's going to take all the values one at a time from over here and plug them into that equation and spit out the answers over here. So what I have now is list 3 is my predicted values, list 2 is my observed values, or the values that actually occurred in the experiment. Then list 4 will be my residuals, which will be what actually happened minus the predicted. So that would be, go up to the top, that would be list 2 minus list 3. Boop. So there you have it. Those are all your residual values for all 8 data points. 0 through 7 is actually 8 data points. You can see like the first one, negative 2.75, means that what actually happened is here, 36. It was 2.75 below what we predicted to happen. And I can see that on my graph. If I go back to zoom 9 and hit trace, that's this first blinking dot right there. It is underneath the blue line. And now I know precisely how far under the line it is. 2.75 to be precise. So I now have my residuals right here in list 4. If I want to make my residual plot on the TI-84, I'm going to use list 1 and list 4 to create it. The residual plot is really just a scatter plot of list 1 and list 4. So go to your stat plot menu, turn it on, and change this one to list 4. Anytime you're going to make a new graph, you want to hit zoom 9. Let's see what happens if I don't hit zoom 9, if I just hit graph. Yeah, it didn't move in. I forgot about that line there. I probably don't want that line there. I'm going to go to y equals, I'm going to clear that out for now. All I want to see is the residual plot. The line of best fit doesn't really sync up with that. So zoom 9 will get me where I want to go. So there's my residual plot. you can hit trace and you can go through dot by dot, and it tells you the residual. So there's that first dot again, and it tells you there that the Y value was 2.75. It's negative 2.75 below the line. When we had one rubber band, you can see it was pretty much 0. It was 0.04 below the line, and so on. You can go through. And remember, what you're looking for here is there's really no pattern here. There's not like a smiley face or a frown or like anything going on. So what that tells me is the data, the original data, is linear. All right, folks. Just hopefully that helps. That should cover every calculator button you would need for chapter 3. Bada boom, bada boom, bye bye.